recipe is sort of a take on an American breakfast classic, the Eggs Benedict. Instead of using a hollandaise sauce, we're going to use a cheddar cheese sauce using the Tillamook extra sharp cheddar. It's a really good recipe that I look forward to showing you. All right, so the first step to making this is going to be the cheese sauce. It calls for 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to obviously use the Tillamook salted butter. So we're going to get that melting into a medium saucepan. I've got the saucepan set to low right now, just to melt the butter, make sure we don't burn it. I might crank that up a little bit in a few minutes, but for now we just want to get that butter nice and melted. So while that butter is melting, the next ingredient that goes into the cheese sauce is a little bit of flour. Here in Portland, I like to use the Bob's Red Mill flour. So just kind of sprinkle that into your pan. So we're going to let that melt. You want to dissolve all the flour into the butter. That's going to take a few minutes to do. All right, it looks like the flour has dissolved nicely into the butter. That's kind of what it's going to end up looking like. And from here, we're going to add 1 cup of whole milk to this mixture. And now comes the fun part. We're actually going to stand here and stir it for about 5 minutes on really low heat. You just want to get all that flour and butter mixed into the milk. You don't want to get the temperature on the milk raised too quickly. So we'll just stir this for a while. I can actually explain where this recipe came from. I kind of came up with this as a... I really like the concept of the Eggs Benedict, but I'm going to share sort of a secret right now that can be somewhat blasphemous. I don't like hollandaise sauce. So the reason that I make this is because I don't like hollandaise sauce. So I figured, well, what else can I do instead of a hollandaise? Figured a cheddar cheese sauce would work. It looks nice. So once you start noticing that it starts to thicken a little, now you're going to try and take the heat down to as low as possible because you don't want to scorch it. Next thing we're going to do is you want to grate up the cheese. Requires about 1.5 to 2 cups of cheddar cheese. Again, we're using the Tillamook extra sharp cheddar. It's just going to add a nice depth. It's a really sort of intricate cheese. It's a really nice cheese to use for this. If you're going to use a shredder, I would recommend putting something underneath. You can use a little piece of paper. And we'll just start shredding. So that's a pretty good amount. So we're going to add the cheese just right into the mixture. And just start stirring it around. The cheese is going to melt and fold nicely right into the sauce. So this is the kind of consistency you're going to want from it. Just a nice thick sauce. And again, you're going to want to turn the heat as far down on this as you can. So just as low as you can, just a nice warm. So the next step to doing this, we're going to be poaching our eggs. You're going to want a medium to large saucepan if you're going to do 2 eggs at a time. You want the water to be just before boiling. You don't want it to be moving too much. You want it hot but not boiling. The trick to poaching an egg is to pour a little bit of vinegar into the water, not too much, maybe 2 or 3 caps, or that's going to keep the eggs from falling apart once they hit the water. When you poach eggs, you want to use sort of the freshest eggs that you can get because poaching eggs is sort of delicate. There's an inner and an outer egg white, and you want that inner egg white to stay intact. You don't want to lose that. So what you want to do is be as gentle with the egg as possible. So you're going to want to crack the egg into something that you can lower into the pot of boiling water. Some Pyrex, you could use a coffee mug if you want, that works just fine. So you get the egg in there. Now the trick to doing this, you want to lower the measuring cup into the water and fill the cup with water, and you want to sort of give it a shake so that the egg does not get stuck to the mug. And then once it is whitened, then you can tip it out and let it fall right in there. Good, we'll do it another time. So again, you want to just sort of tip the measuring cup in, let the water in on the egg. You don't want to tip it too much so that the egg falls out, but you want to just kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle to keep the egg from sticking at the bottom of the cup. And then once it turns white enough, then you can tip it on out. And now your eggs are going to sit there for about 3 to 4 minutes. We'll check up on them in a second. All right, so the next step to this, we want to get our bread ready. For this, I like to use a loaf of English muffin bread. It's a really good tasting breakfast bread. If you can find it in your town, great. I like to cut the crusts off for this to really square it up. So from here, we're going to get these on the grill toasting. We use a melted butter for this again. Just brush it on one side, get on the grill. Once it's on, you want to dab it on the other side. We're going to flip it in a second so that we toast both sides. And we'll get both of these on there. And the next step, you're going to check on your eggs. Use some sort of slotted spoon if you got one. Just want to pull it out, give it a little nudge. It feels about right for the first one. From here, I like to pull them out and put it onto a paper towel just to soak some of the water off. Give it a little flip. Next ingredient, we're going to take a couple slices of ham, and that we're going to just toast up for a second. Maybe use another one. So get a fresh tomato. Let's check our ham. Flip the toast. Grill up the other side. The ham you're going to take and fold over twice. And that goes on the bread like this. I like to take the tomato and just put it on the grill for a couple seconds just to take some of the steam out. And anytime you throw tomatoes on the grill, you want to put a little pinch of salt and pepper onto them. It brings out the flavor in the tomato. I guess this would have just worked with one slice of tomato. Put this on the plate there. Your eggs are going to go right on top of the tomato. One there. And now you're ready to spoon that cheese sauce right on top. Give it a little stir one more time. Take a ladle. And you just kind of want to drizzle it right on top. It's good to let it spill out in as many directions as it can go. That looks good there. Last little touch, I like to take some Old Bay seasoning and just kind of give it a little punch right on top of that. And that is a grilled cheese eggs Benedict.